Hey everyone, welcome. Got some people joining us now. Be getting ready to start in a couple of minutes.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us today. I am Natalie Humble. I am our group product manager on the CHMS side of the house. I have Corey Waltz here and Therese Ty, who are also product managers within the CHMS realm. Both of them have been deeply involved in the projects that we're going to talk about and can help kind of answer any questions that we might have. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so service planning phase 2. I hope that most of you on this deep dive have gotten a chance to check out the current phase of service planning that is available in Breeze. If you haven't, that's accessible through the events module within Breeze, and you'll see it right in your submenu. You click on service plan, and you're able to create service plans and adjust the order of the plan, share the plan via email, print it, download the PDF. So some good functionality out there. It's very basic functionality, which we knew. And so service planning, we talk about it as if it's a feature, but truly it's building an entirely new product into Breeze. If you think about some of our competitors in the space, this is kind of the core of what they do, right? And we're really trying to build out a amazing product within Breeze, within service planning. So this is going to be many, many phases. So this is just phase 2, but we're trying to hit the highest priority items as we go through these phases. So in phase 2, and you heard this in Next, some of the exciting things that are happening in there are around song library, song select, and then there are some other features that I'll talk through as well. But we'll kind of start with the song library. I think just talking to a lot of customers, doing a lot of, data and research and surveying, some of the things that we just continually hear is, I want to be able to store my music in a centralized place, right? A lot of y'all are using a Google Drive, some of you use our planning center or worship tools or something like that. But having that capability to have a central database of your song library is of the utmost importance, and to reduce the need to continually re-enter a song every single time we're doing a service plan. So the number one thing that we wanted to deliver as a part of this release was creating a song library. So the song library within service planning will now be up in kind of this right-hand gear, if you can see my mouse here within Breeze. And you'll be able to access it and add songs either that are net new, so they're manually added. They're not from any database specifically, or you can pull in music directly from SongSelect CCLI. When you're pulling in, and actually I'll save that for my next slide, but you'll get a lot of great data as you're bringing that music in from SongSelect too. You'll be able to add tags and custom themes and instruments to a song so that you're able to search on them. I think Poochie, you're on the call, and custom song tags was one of the things that as a part of beta testing came up quite often. And Poochie, I think you were one of the first people to call it out, and it's a great call out. So if you have certain things that you're looking for as a part of your service to make sure you're hitting on, tagging songs accordingly, that might be helpful. We also bring in the themes from Song Select. So if you're familiar with the themes that are associated to songs in CCLI or Song Select, you'll see those associated to the songs in the database as well. I'm going to pause for a minute because I see some chat questions. Anything coming up yet, Corey, that I need to ask?
Not too much.
Okay.
Allison doesn't like sweating,
All right,
and
well, that's good. I don't
Shane is
either.
excited to stop using Google Drive, which I totally agree. I was in that game for a while too. I was worship pastor for several years, and it was Dropbox I used, but man, it's so nice to get it better organized.
I could never figure out how to share folders with other people in my Dropbox. For some reason, that really always evaded me. So Good on you, Corey. But yes, excited to get away from Dropbox and Google Drive, I think, for everyone. You're also going to be able to add notes to the song itself. I think, again, that came out of beta testing, and you can add different versions to the song. So in other platforms, you may have heard that as like arrangements. But let's say you want to create, a Christmas version of the song, or this is our abbreviated version. You can do that, and you can specify different keys for that as well. Something else, and I know from a couple of the beta testers that came up in beta testing, was the ability to import into the song library in kind of a quicker manner. So initially we were having folks, let's say you've got this whole Google Drive, right? And you want to bring all that music into Breeze. It was going to be an add one by one, right? Each song at a time. And we've actually been developing a bulk import tool that you'll be able to upload a CSV file. There's actually one that is a direct import from a Planning Center export, if you're familiar with the export tool in there. And then just kind of a general import feature as well for those of you using Google Drive, Dropbox, or any other competitors that you're able to export from. But that will definitely help cut down on some time. And Daryl, who is kind of our API wizard, has come up with the capability to, let's say you're importing a song that has a CCLI number into Breeze. It will actually be able to go out and make a call to Song Select CCLI and bring in any attachments associated to that song and that key as a part of the import. So you will be able to bring some attachments in with it, which is pretty cool. Okay, I do see a question. Is service planning phase 2 going to be included, or is it going to be an additional charge, especially given your comment about how there are others in the space that do this natively? Love these new features. Great question, Stephen. And that's something that we've been kind of balancing back and forth on kind of how do we price this, because we do feel that we do need to have some additional charge around this. What we're going to be doing is the initial functionality. We're looking at keeping that free, what's currently available, and the functionality that we are building out, having a flat fee associated to that. We are playing with a couple different models on that, but our goal is to keep the pricing as simplistic as possible, because we feel like that's kind of how Breeze has always operated, and we want to continue that. But that's kind of what we're looking at this point in time. We'll definitely have more here probably in the next couple weeks on exactly what that price point will look like. But again, that's been a big part of our beta testing, is the question around how do we package and how do we price this? Great question, Stephen. Okay, I think that's everything on the song library. If you have any other questions on it, feel free to add them to the chat. And if not, we will address them at the end here. Okay. Talking a little bit more about the Song Select integration. I hit on this kind of in my first slide, but just a couple other features to call out. So obviously you'll be able to bring in Song Select CCLI songs into the song library, but now you'll notice that when you're in the service plan and you're adding a song, the modal that pops is actually going to look different than what you see today, where you'll be searching on the music that's either currently in your library, or you'll also be able to see songs that are in the CCLI Song Select database if you've connected your account. So, I had search love here, and you can see in this first example, I have, Oh, How I Love Jesus. It's already in my library. It's going to come to the top of the list. And then I've got these next two here that maybe aren't in my library with the CCLI number, that I can add directly onto the service plan. And adding them to the service plan will also add them to your song library, so they'll be there and usable in the future. You will be able to enable auto reporting through CCLI as well for tracking and compliance purposes. So that will be available as a part of the extension enablement. So both Song Select and Service Planning Phase 2, which includes Song Select, Song Library, Worship App, and all the next functionality that's going to be coming in Phase 3, Phase 4, the rest of the phases, you're able to enroll in all of those through the extensions page. So again, I talk about being able to do that right in the extensions page. If you go out there right now, you won't see those options, but these are things that are coming very soon, probably here in the next month, I would say. We're just trying to kind of wrap things up, clean things as much as possible in our beta testing, and make sure that when we roll out, it's as clean as humanly possible. The last one, if you're familiar with using Song Select or CCLI and any other platform, you'll see kind of very similar functionality within Breeze. You'll be able to import chord charts and lyric sheets that will come in along with the song details, including the author's name, the title, themes associated to it, and that kind of information. Okay. All right. I just got a question here. Gloria, what's the timeline for rollout for phase 2? I think we kind of just hit on it. Like I said, we're kind of actively in beta testing. Really, the long pole in the tent here is just wrapping up some of the functionality that we heard coming out of beta testing as really a must-have. And one of the biggest ones was getting like that bulk import done, adding tags, adding notes. So some of those things we really wanted to make sure we're in before we released. But I'm shooting here for the next month, or gosh, really in the next month is my goal. Things always take a little bit longer than I would like, but that's really my goal from a timeline perspective. Shane asks, is there a set number of phases, or is it like the MCU where it's an ongoing project? It is an ongoing project, I would say. And I don't want to say we're going to just basically dedicate 3 developers for the rest of time to service planning, but it almost feels like that. Every time we think, all right, we're going to get to a spot where we feel like we're in a good place, just from a competitive standpoint with what we know is already out there in the market. We just realize there's so much more depth that, we need to provide and that we're excited to do. So like in phase 3, we've talked about some presentation software integration, right? And how do we tie this tightly with volunteer management? So there is a lot that we want to do, and I don't see us slowing down on phases anytime soon. So I would guess the minimum number is 4 and the maximum is sky's the limit. You'll probably hear me talk about this for a very long time. Good question. Okay, last slide here. This really speaks to a lot of the functionality that's already in phase 1 around the ability to create multiple versions, assign different keys, print and email and download the plan for anyone who needs to know. A couple of things that I know that y'all don't see yet in production, but we have heard in just customer feedback with phase 1 that's out in production today. A lot of people have talked about the font size on the PDF or on the email, on the PDF version that's emailed or printed. We have heard that feedback, and the font size is being adjusted. We're also kind of changing around the columns. We're adding a led by column to the service plan. You'll see that as well on your printout too. So we are going to be making some tweaks that are just going to be to the base service planning that's already out there, based on feedback and usability that we've heard thus far. All right. Well, listen, thank you all very much for joining us on Tithely Next and on the deep dive. We appreciate you all. We love your feedback, and we love your excitement about the new stuff coming too. So thank you for that. Again, feel free to reach out to us through support or more directly through Facebook. I think all of us are on Facebook, and we'll, chat you back on occasion too directly. So lovely to chat with you all, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and God bless.
Thank you, everyone.
Awesome.
Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.